Welcome to Conversations with. I'm Laura Ratliff, Mrs. Australia International 2020. I'm a little bit excited today because I have met the most wonderful, inspirational lady of all time. She has had struggles in the health and she learned so much information, is now helping ladies and men around the United States of America with their health journey. She's also stumbled into the pageantry world and is just inspirational and helping kids everywhere. So please help me welcome the amazing Lorna Christensen, who is Mrs. Jordan Valley.
Hello, thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. I just love your story. We met recently and you shared me so much amazing information about your struggles, how you conquered your struggles, and now teaching people how to be the ultimate health person. And we all know that it's all connected to the mind, the body, the soul. And if one area isn't balanced, then life can be difficult, especially with COVID-19 going on. So
Absolutely.
share a little bit about your health journey.
Well, I kind of have an interesting story being in the pageant now. I have the hashtag Fat Girl to Beauty Queen because I literally have struggled with weight my whole life. And a lot of us do, but I literally was obese my entire adult life. And
Wow.
So, struggled, and I couldn't figure it out. I tried all these different things and nothing really worked. At one time, I actually ballooned up to 400 pounds. And I was very unhealthy and very unhappy.
Well, now, can I ask you right there, though, how did you feel at that weight? Because it's not necessarily about the weight, is it? It's about the emotion. So walk us through the feeling that you had at that point in your life.
You really, truly, and anyone who's overweight, very overweight will understand, you feel like almost trapped in your body. Like your body, you get tired so easily. You feel super insecure and self-conscious all the time. Anything you put on your body, you don't feel comfortable in it. You have to get big clothes. You feel like you're wearing a tent.
Yeah.
And you just emotionally, you feel less than.
Yeah.
Feel like you're no matter how great you do, you're not good enough. And we can all struggle with that. But when you have that extra layer of weight and the judgments that come with that in our world, it just is a whole nother level of difficulty. And, it leads to depression. It leads to health issues. I was literally having health issues, pain, daily chronic pain. I had diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is very hard, definitely daily pain. And, I'd smile and keep going through the day, and do the best that I could. I always work with children and they bring joy to my heart. And so I, just pushed forward, but it was very difficult. At the end of the day, I would just lay in the bed and I would just kind of like cry with the pain of the day and settling into my body. And because it was hard to carry that around, literally and figuratively.
Wow. Lorna, thank you so much for sharing that. I know that is difficult because it's a real emotion that we've experienced. Myself, I was 35 pounds overweight. When I was a child, I was super active. I did a lot of dancing. So never struggled until like my late 20s and early 30s, especially early 30s.
Yeah.
So I was 35 pounds overweight and everywhere I had to wear stretchy pants because no other pants fit. I felt horrible and depressed. I was on the couch, didn't want to get up off the couch. And I just decided one day, this is enough. This is not how I was brought into the world. This is not how I felt that we should be living. So I decided to research it and I came across some great information that it's not our fault. We're not born and then all of a sudden we're depressed and we're feeling bad all the time. It's unfortunately the world in which we live. There are foods that are not good for us. So I know that you've also studied this in detail. So give us some maybe examples or examples from your clients where you've changed sort of some of the way of how they eat and the results that you're getting with your clients.
Yes, I am so fortunate that I did become a health coach about 4.5 years ago. And it was the same thing for me, Laura. I had tried so many things, but it got to a point where I'm like, I cannot live the rest of my life like this, not and do things that I want to do and not the difference that I want to make. And so I found the power of nutrition, and it is like amazing when our body has the right nutrients and we're fueling it well and taking care of it. You will automatically shrink. It's like your body releases, because you are putting into it food that it can use. And
Yeah.
so many things that we have in our society, the fast grabbing foods and the fried foods and the delicious sugary treats, and all of those things are so wonderful. And we're literally, a lot of us in our lives are living to eat and not eating to live.
I love that.
So I learned how to eat to live, to really live again. And I let go of 95 pounds, and I'm thinner. I'm thin now. I've never been thin in my whole adult life. And
Wow.
that has been a whole new world in and of itself. I remember the first time I walked into a store and I went to the regular size section, and I literally cried because I had never shopped in that side of the store.
Wow.
And so those kinds of things, I became passionate about, like, wow, this unlocked my life like this, to learn the power of nutrition and how to take care of myself and work on the mindsets that created me to be heavy in the first place.
Yeah.
And change those habits to really loving myself, my body, and taking care of myself. I wanted to pass it on. And so it's like people were asking, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I want this for everybody. I want everybody to feel great. I want everybody to be healthy and vibrant and vitality, and be able to do all of the things and live a limitless life. And so that's what kind of led me into the coaching world. and
Wow.
and it's been such a joy to watch people, to share with them simple things. Hydrate your body. Our body, we deserve to drink. Like if you're in weight loss phase, you should be drinking about 100 ounces of water a day. And that, some people can't wrap their head around that, but minimum you should be drinking 64 ounces of water a day, no matter what the size of your body is. And that's just how our body moves everything around, flows things, everything happens. Our systems clean themselves, everything. I joke about when you don't drink water, it's like your body trying to work its systems with dirty dishwater.
Oh, I love that example. That's great.
Because then it can only use the water that's in there. And so that's why, it's just so unhealthy. And then when we drink water, our body's like, yay. And then our skin's healthy. We look younger. We don't have sagginess. It's all from hydration. So that's one of the top tips I love to give people to be healthy. And then eating every 2 to 3 hours, something with some nutrients in it. Your body really, if you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, something high nutrient and quality, your body will just run like a well-oiled machine. You'll feel great energy through the day. And then avoiding things like high amounts of caffeine and sugar is very toxic for the body. And actually carbs in general aren't evil, but we only need a little bit of them to have the energy. Carbs are for energy. And anything you eat over the amount that your body needs to run is going to be stored as fat. Because there's nothing else for the body to use it for. And so, and that's, learning those things and then choosing more wisely. It's in fun, but for me, the health benefits, even more than the weight.
Yeah.
Like I have a client who's come to me who has been diagnosed with diabetes type 2, and they're really scared for the longevity of their life, because now they're taking, medications and possibly insulin, and being able to give them just nutrition, and within a month to 2 months, they don't need any medications and their blood sugars are stable. They feel great. That is the power that we have in what we eat. And so I love passing that. I don't know if that answered your question, but that's what I love doing. I love helping people to be able to utilize that and to really take care of themselves.
I love that. Yeah, because we cannot create in this world if our energy isn't where it's supposed to be. We need to be vibrating at a high frequency. And how can we when our food is low? I think I read somewhere once, and I cannot quote where I read it, but basically the idea was you're eating nutrition and you're giving the body the fuel it needs, just like a car. So if you put cheaper fuel in the car, it's not going to run as well, and it might break down along the way, and you might need to spend more money on the car with fixing it. But if you put the premium fuel in the car, then it's going to run like a race car, and it's not going to break down as much. It's going to be performing at a high standard. And that's how I kind of choose what
I
I
love
eat every
that.
day. I only eat natural food. I do not eat sugar, low carb, but I get my carbs from my vegetables, basically.
Yes,
Um,
yes, which is where we deserve to get it from.
yeah, absolutely. And it's just so important that people know that being overweight is a symptom. It is not your fault. And if we can master what we put in, the fuel, the food, the nutrition, like Lorna said, then your life is just going to excel. But it does take time. And I believe you need to do it in a group. That's what Lorna's for.
Yes, yes, I love I'm creating a community
Yeah.
because statistics show that with support, we are 10 times more likely to achieve anything that we set forth to do. There's power in creating a community and doing things together. One of my mantras in life, in fact, my favorite mantra is "We're better together."
Oh,
Because
I love that.
do anything, link arms with each other, and it's amazing what you can create both for yourself and for others. So it's just really awesome. And
You're a shining light. I just love everything about you. So you are Mrs. Jordan Valley, and you're a shining light. You have a platform. Please, I'm dying to know, what is your platform and how can we support you?
oh, thank you so much for inviting me to share that. If you would have mentioned to the former heavy girl that I was going to be in a pageant for Mrs. Utah America, which is a preliminary to Mrs. America, I would have said, you got to be kidding. No, I did. Haven't ever done a pageant before, but I am passionate about a lot of things. And I have a very dear friend who is actually a client of mine who went on my program to get healthy and fit and do well in this pageant a couple years ago. And she is one who encouraged me to do this because she knows my heart. She knows that I am passionate about changing the world and assisting others to be their amazing selves. And so when I decided to do this, I did it as a stretch. There's always so much growth right outside the comfort zone. And this was really, really out of my comfort zone. I thought, okay, my deepest desire is that hopefully I'll inspire someone else to feel like they're good enough and that they can do anything. Even if a girl who used to be 400 pounds can be Mrs. Utah America, you can do anything. And so when I was thinking about my platform, I thought, well, what am I going to be doing and creating? You know, what's important to me? And I have this gift of seeing the magnificence in people, seeing their greatness and inspiring them to see their own greatness because I see it before they see it. And so when I was thinking about this, I thought, wow, everybody makes a difference, even if they don't realize it, even if they have no clue that they're making a difference. Each of us, as long as you show up, your contribution makes a difference to the whole situation always. And so my platform is Your Magnificence is the Difference. And because it's a difference between someone having a bad day and you smiling at them and then feeling like, wow, someone else cares. It's the difference between a mama feeling like she's all alone and she just wants to pull her hair out because the kids are making her crazy, or feeling supported because her neighbor came by just to see how she was doing. You know, that those little things, or they're the big things that we can do where we link arms with others and we go out and work on educating the children in less fortunate places. That's one of my passions. Or, you know, humanitarian work, there's service work. There's just so many ways we can make a difference just by showing up and being willing to do something. And so, and I know that it's deeper than that. When you open people's eyes to their magnificence, then they're inspired to take that and truly become all that they are and all that they can be, and then they really become a ripple in the world. And so that's what I love to do because of, like I said, my gift of seeing that in others. My grandma always said, leave things better than you found it. And she was a very, very special person to me. And so I take that as not just places you go or things that you have, but people that come into your life too. Leave everything and everyone better than you found it. And because we can do that for each other. We can inspire each other, lift each other up. If we're in a space, something's on the ground, pick it up, throw it away. You just let that little tiny piece of the earth a little better, or that person you smiled, gave them a hug, and they were sad, and now they're feeling like, oh, I'm okay, I can do this. You just made that person's life in that moment a little bit better, and so like all those little things that we can do to make a difference.
You are amazing. I'm sitting here, I'm getting goosebumps, Lorna. You're so beautiful. So you had mentioned that stretching yourself, let's just get outside that comfort zone and so forth. So I'm assuming you've had a few growing moments through this pageantry journey. So do you have maybe a tip or trick that you'd like to share someone who might be in your shoes and doing pageantry for the first time?
I would love to share some tips. It's very true. I've learned through coaching many, many people over the last few years that that we grow when we stretch. When we move into a space where we're not exactly comfortable, we discover a whole new world. I would have never thought I would be a coach. I was an early child educator for 30 years before I became a health coach. And I loved it. I wrote curriculum. I have curriculum all over the world. That was like my gift with children. And I love it. Musically based curriculum, I still love it. And I own a school even here in West Jordan. I love education of children. But when I had people asking me what I was doing when I transformed myself, and it was such a gift to myself that I knew I couldn't hold it just for myself. And I stepped into that role of guiding someone else and just walking beside them and showing them what I did so that they could have the same gift in their life. That was uncomfortable. For a long time, I was like, I couldn't even call myself a transformational coach. I couldn't even call myself a health coach. I was this way out of my comfort zone. I'm like, I'm not a coach. Who am I? The fat girl to tell people how to be healthy. But that was in my head. That was because my comfort zone wasn't in that space. But now as I leaned in and was very uncomfortable for a little while, it became more and more comfortable, and I became more and more able to make a difference in that new, what became comfortable. So that's why I'm always looking for another way to stretch myself, because the more I stretch myself and develop who I am, the more I have to give. And so being uncomfortable isn't something to be scared of or to resist. It's actually such a beautiful gift. If you could just say, okay, I know this is not comfortable, but if I do it enough times, it will become my new comfortable.
I love that.
So, yeah. And so, if you can, in moments where you're doing something new and you know it's going to be great for you and you want to quit because it's hard and it's not comfortable, just remind yourself that other things that you've done at one time probably were uncomfortable too, and now they're not because you did them enough times. So dig in, and if you know it's going to be worth it, do those things each day to become comfortable in the new world that you're creating and doing.
I love that. Keep on growing your mind, growing your life. I love that philosophy. It's beautiful. So where do we see Lorna in the next 5 years?
Yes. Where will you see? Oh, you asked where. I said literally. Yes, of course.
What will you be doing in the next 5 years?
I didn't quite hear the gun. So funny. Yeah. No, where will I be? I have so many passions. And when I picked my platform, Your Magnificence is the Difference, I picked that platform because of another passion I have, and that is working. I'm actually on the board of directors for a nonprofit called Sheroes United. And in that nonprofit, we dare to change the world through love. That's our motto. And basically we serve women and children and families and even men coming out of domestic violence. There's actually 3 pillars: domestic violence, human trafficking, and our first responders. There's a lot of abuse that goes on in our world and a lot of terrible things, but we aren't what happens to us. And so when you can empower someone coming out of a situation like that, I was a child in a domestic violent home. So I have a really near and dear heart to that work because I was a little person in that situation and very helpless when you're a child in that situation. And so I am so excited. I'm actually the education director of the board, and I'm writing a curriculum for children right now, which will go hopefully into school systems. We actually have plans to really spread it broad for empowering children to know the superhero within, that they are capable, how they show up in the world matters, and that they can choose how they show up. They don't have to follow the patterns of what they have experienced in life. And that goes for children that are not necessarily just in abusive situations or in trafficking or in hardships, but any person, if they can learn when they're young the power of how they show up and who they are, then they will become those that change the world. And so the superhero in me is the name of the curriculum, and I'm so excited to spread that, and I'll be doing that. That's one of my projects in the next 5 years. Also, I speak to youth and I speak to teenagers, and I'm very passionate about the youth of the LGBT community, because I have seen and worked with a lot of difficulties that come in that whole realm and that whole life. And so I'll always be out there doing what I can and making my own difference and inspiring others to do the same.
Oh, that's wonderful. You are inspirational. You're inspiring me as I sit here listening to you. Thank you so much for your time today. And how do we get in contact with you? Do you have a website, Facebook?
Yes, I do. I have a website mainly designed for clients, but you can always, I'm so open and I love making new friends, and I'm always about supporting and assisting others. So I'm on Facebook. I'm the only Lana Christensen on all of Facebook. So I'm pretty easy to find if you spell my name right, Launa. Joked about that. Most of my life I've been called Laura because it's spelled like Laura, but with an N. So,
we must be sisters then. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much for your time today. I know that people have just loved listening to your story. If you are in health and want some help, do reach out to Lorna. If you want to follow her amazing pageantry journey, and I will be, please do reach out and connect. So that's Laura Ratliff today, and I sparkle for every child. There are 730,000 children living in poverty in Australia, and 15 million children living in poverty in the USA. So together with my charity, we'll be able to give these amazing children opportunities and give them programs to change the course of their future. If you would like to follow me, please do go to my website, laurajaneratliff.com. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you on the next show of Conversations With.